Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 455th episode of the GeekVerse podcast. I am the Clown Prince of Podcasts, 15 days away to the Batman Trust now, and I'm joined by...
Zippermouth, Kirklin Patzer.
I'm the Chief, Taylor Field.
I'm glad you had that nickname because I completely forgot a piece of news to add to the news tonight, but we will talk about it.
Send me the thumbnail things like, oh, this son of a bitch.
He just got the thumbnail a couple weeks ago. He can take a week off. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. It's weird because usually we had like this kind of different schedule with the midnight releases, but until Moon Knight, we got some different days when we're podcasting. And yeah, as always, we got lots of stuff popping off. The Peacemaker finale will be dropping tomorrow, so that's going to be a good time. We just had 2 retrospectives drop. The Dark Knight Rises, a GV classic with myself, Kyle, and Emily. That's a really, really good time. I think it was the first time I had Emily on a podcast. And I think one of the first few times I had Kyle as well, and it was a good time because we all loved that movie, but there's lots of problems with it, and we had a fun time talking about it. And then, finally, the much talked about, because April, I think it's 15th, Fantastic Beasts 3 comes out, so the very first episode of the Harry Potter retrospective has dropped. It is live for everyone. If you really like that, you can go get the rest of 7 on Patreon right now, but Philosopher's Stone, you guys had I was not available for that one, but you guys had a fun time. I've not listened to it yet. I plan on listening to them at some point here. I popped in a few times just to bug you guys when you're recording, but yeah, it's out in the wild. Philosopher's Stone, excited to get it out there.
I'm just gonna say Philosopher's Stone Chamber of Secrets was like, I'm pretty sure me, Kirkland, just memeing throughout most of it, just quoting the lines.
Absolutely. We were
Dylan,
pissing them off.
Yeah. Oh, we were. Dylan and Jessica getting into the deep lore.
They're just
3 hours.
Dylan going off on Quidditch, on how just ridiculous it is of a sport. Spent a lot of time on Quidditch.
I was editing that, and that's the part where I heard about a minute of that, and I heard a minute of you guys memeing. I was like, oh man, I can't wait to listen to this one. So yeah, on the live feeds, it's all there. Go check that out. And yeah, we're on our march to the Batman. We got lots of good stuff happening. And I guess I'll just announce this now because it's just a little thing, but I think it's going to be fun. And I'm excited. When you guys went away in August, I got to take over. Well, this time I get to really take over because from February 28th all the way to March 4th, I am off that week in my new position. I get multiple weeks paid off, and I'm going to be off. So you are going to be getting a Travis podcast every single day. Thought Bubbles, Daily Geek, I'm here. You're still going to get episode GeekVerse. You're still going to get side quests. It's not like me taking over the whole feed and bumping everybody. People want that. That'll happen next year. But no, I am going to be, maybe I'll have a guest on it too, but it's just going to be me. I'll be at home. Maybe at 1 p.m., 2 p.m., I'll just slide in, talk about some stuff, ramble as usual. And yeah, so look out for that. You can watch me live, or you can just subscribe to the feed. They'll be on the main feed and the news feed, so do that. You guys scared a week of me just rambling off alone,
It's happened before.
Yeah. Scared
Never
me then,
a whole
it'll scare
week.
me now.
A whole week. This is my trial test for for future proofing. Maybe us
See if
one
you
day.
cancel us.
Yeah, that's it. I'm going to say one thing. It's over. Right before the Batman, our biggest review of the year. It's over for GeekVerse. It's over for you. So all this stuff is popping off. Titterfield, where can they find it?
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find us with your internet connection in the search bar. GeekVerse.ca is our home base. GeekVerse Cast is our Twitter. And GeekVerse Podcast on the Facebook.
Yes, and all the links are down below. The audio, the video, where to find us, where to review us. Join the Discord because that's been popping off a lot lately, so that's a good time. The podcast network links are there. All our feeds are there for the review feed, the news feed, the retrospective feed, the side quest. So many feeds, and that's why you go down below to find everything. And most importantly, head over to Patreon because you get ad-free, exclusive, early episodes. Stuff like side quests, stuff like Comic Virgins, which we're about to record, is all happening because of you guys and gals. So we really appreciate everyone that takes a moment and gives us some of your hard-earned money. And we're trying to make you, feel like we've earned what you've paid for. And for you guys as well, the big thing happening, I guess, it'll probably be this weekend when it officially starts, because I can officially say, unfortunately, that Kano did not win his poll.
It hurts.
It was tied for a while, but the Baron from Dune has taken over. So
Poor taste.
So, wow. I was worried there for a second, but the people that voted Baron, thank you very much. You actually have good taste. You actually appreciate cinema, not none of this Kano bullshit. So what's going to be happening is starting this weekend every single day. Yes, S-Bubs also. He'll teach you how to do a spoiler tag on Discord because I always forget. But I think I've figured it out now. So starting this weekend for the MCU Golden Geeks and the regular Golden Geeks. So I'm probably going to be putting a poll up there every day, and you guys get to vote and decide who the winners are. So that's what you can do on any tier. It's going to be lots of fun. So head over there, support us, and we really appreciate it. So we are about 2 weeks away. Like I said, the time of this recording, it's 16 days. When it drops, it's 15 days. But we are right around the corner to the Batman. We've been very excited. So we're not going to talk about that because we've been excited. We've been talking about it, God, since fandom. We should have had this movie last July. We should have had this movie last October. But it's finally here, hopefully. So me and Taylor talked about this a little bit. And I'm going to, what this is, regular predictions. I'm going to throw some predictions from myself and some of the patrons at you guys and see what they think about them. Me and Taylor talked about this a few weeks ago when tracking came out. So I'm going to ask Taylor again to reaffirm. But I'm going to start with Kirklin first, box office wise. So the Batman is coming out. Kirk and Patzer, how do you think this thing is going to do? The biggest opening, I think, of the pandemic so far is Spider-Man, which was like 260, something like that. Before that was Venom with 90, and the rest are all kind of like a 70, 80 sprinkled. Where do you see it in that kind of, you think it's going to be Venom? Let me ask you an easy one. You think it's going to be Venom at 90 million?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So how, do you think it beats No Way Home? And if it doesn't, where's the trajectory? How far can the Batman get? Just the opening weekend.
What was the No Way Home? 260?
I think it's 260, yeah, which is one of the biggest openings of all time. So that's a tough pill,
I feel like it'll do really, really well. Spider-Man was just a whole nother thing. I feel like that's almost an anomaly, just, combining the 3 Spider-Men into one feature film. There's just so much hype around that movie. There's a lot of hype for this movie, but I feel like it's just so different and so hard to compare those two. I think it'll be. I'm gonna shoot a high number. I'll go 200 million, 200 flat. That's still shy of Spider-Man, but that's no easy feat by any means, especially in the era of COVID. But I feel like, I don't know whether it's Robert Pattinson or the other members of the cast or just all of the trailer reactions to this movie. Like, I feel like everyone is super positive on what they've seen from this movie. So yeah, I'll shoot a high number, but just not an absurd number like Spider-Man was.
I forgot to say Happy National Fuck on Batman Day. It has been 1 year ago since it was reported that Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz. I need S-Bubs, if you're listening to this, because we're gonna boost you up eventually to full-time scooper. You need to remember this. Every February 16th, you need to remind us, because I want to get this thing going. This is the first 1 year anniversary of hashtag Fuck on Batmobile Day, and that's what's gonna be happening. So that's why. That's another thing to get excited about. People want to see that
still
scene.
Furious.
He's still furious. He's still. You look at all these cast interviews. Is Matt Reeves with any of them? Nope. He's off somewhere else. Just who could I recast? Could I get Ben back?
He wakes up, looks at his calendar. He's like, "Fuck! It's this day. Oh, I hate it. I hate this day."
yeah. Actually, it's the day that he posted on Reddit all this stuff. Matt Reeves is furious. But okay, so you're saying 200. I was 210 because we looked it up, and I think it was like Avengers was like 203, Jurassic World was like 204, and then Black Panther was 207, and then the next record after that was like 220, something like that. So for some reason, I feel like it can get there. I feel like that hype is building. Yes, this is a good point that, okay, all those fan screenings that came out early sold out, but many people are like, well, of course, those are the fan screenings. But I just feel like there is that hype, like I've talked about before. There's excitement, there's hype, and it's completely building. So I'm around there. Taylor, I can't remember the opening weekend. I think were you around the 200 mark, or were you somewhere else?
Sorry, you completely cut out. What is your question? He's gone. Oh, there he's back. Travis, what did you just say?
I said, I can't remember where you were. I knew you were high, but I can't remember if you were at the 200 million mark as well for an opening.
Okay, and what is the context of the question here?
What do you mean, what's the context? It's exactly what I asked Kirklin. Opening weekend for the Batman.
Oh, the
What porn
Batman.
are you looking at
Okay.
over there?
I
Stop
heard Jurassic World, and I was thinking like, oh, Jurassic World opening weekend.
200 million.
Stop looking at Matt Reeves' videos and stuff like that.
They're on the Batmobile right now.
Right again. They just won't stop.
I can't remember what I initially said before, but I feel like it was within the ballpark of like over 200 million, over that. I'm pretty sure they would break it. Yeah, I do.
Okay. And then are you still, you and I were both about this, are you still feeling confident that it's going to break $1 billion?
I will say yes, because I think we're on the trend of $1 billion movies here post-COVID now. I think they had a successful Super Bowl, and the people were there like in the hundreds, tens of thousands.
What does
so
that even
Team
mean?
Gotham.
No, it
Team
just
Gotham
it just
won.
They had a
it
successful
just,
Super Bowl.
I just mean like
What?
people are ready to get back out there and go to the theaters. So now that like things are kind of simmering down, people are getting out and supporting like entertainment now. So I think like in the context of like a really good movie, word of mouth is gonna bring people to the theaters again. So I think people aren't as like cautious and leery about it. I think people are gonna get out there, spend their dollars, and get back behind the big screen.
SO says that photo shoot remind me of what day it was. Everyone go look at the photo shoot that Zoe Kravitz and Robert Pattinson did. Now, I will say this. I'm pretty sure Zoe Kravitz is like engaged. Robert Pattinson's with somebody. But you know what? Zendaya and Tom Holland, when this whole Spider-Man trilogy started, they weren't together. But when it ended, they sure were. And I'm telling you, there's only a finite... Now, I guess they probably already fucked on the Batmobile. But there's only a finite time until these two end up together. I'm telling you, by the time this trilogy's over, it's just... They're just too close. It's just... These pictures are way too spicy. But... Kirk and Patzer, I will ask you because before Spider-Man No Way Home, we had only had the last $1 billion movie was Rise of Skywalker back in 2019. So it was quite a while. So do you think Batman will hit that trend once again? They had a good Super Bowl.
Yeah, a good Super Bowl. I really want them to, just for the success of this trilogy going forward. The Matt Reeves Batman, I think that would be absolutely awesome. I'm like hesitant just to just say yeah for sure. But I don't know. Joker was $1 billion movie. I know that was in the COVID era, but that was a very different movie. It was also R-rated, so not everybody could go see it and still made $1 billion. I feel like Batman is a little bit more accessible to like a wider range of audience, and like I said before, like all just the other contributing factors to the hype. I think it has a pretty strong chance. But I don't know if I'd make a big bet on that. It's I think if anything it'd be really close.
So I was this way before. I was saying it was going to be $1 billion. I didn't want to tell Taylor Kirkland this before because I feel like they'd easily say yes. But in the last week, they did announce that the Batman will be opening up in China, unlike No Way Home.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's
unlike a lot of
$1
other places. So I thought that already. I still just thought I didn't think it was going to be like get there so quickly like No Way Home did, but I did think, okay, because of March a little lighter, I think word of mouth people go see this multiple times. Because China, I think it's a foregone conclusion, and that's a good thing for them, and yeah, want more of that stuff. So let me pull up the Patreon ones first, which is good. Patrons, there's a new person that asked, but there's a old timer, or I always want to say family.
An old timer.
Patreon Clay. I say Patreon Clay is a old timer. Like I'd say him and Hansi are probably.
When you say old timer, it just makes me think of like an old folk.
You old timer,
like our legacy legacy members.
There's somebody that's been, when you're with us before the Endgame review, that's when you know you're an OG because that's when so many people have found us, and we love everyone that found us. But these are people that were with us when we were rocking.
You're
50.
not as special as the pre-Endgame.
No, these are people somehow found us when we were like rocking 50 to 100 listeners, and people couldn't find us at all. So. Luckily, the questions you guys asked were pretty much what I was going to be asking anyway, so good job, fan. So, Bo asked, do you guys think there will be any character reveals in the movie that hasn't been shown in the marketing? If so, who? Save Joker. Don't talk about Joker. I have a separate question for that. So do you think there's any characters, and Bo didn't say villains or heroes, just anyone in general from the Batman lore universe that we could be seeing in this movie that's not been put forward to us? Matt Reeves hasn't talked about, no trailers. Taylor Field. Who could we see? Good or bad?
Joker. No, I'm just kidding. I think that we could probably
Kirklin, who do you think we could see come in the Batman?
The timing of that. Well, I don't know. I need time to think. Let this
All
guy
right,
go.
Taylor Field, go again. You bastard.
It's tricky because I've seen mentions of what Matt Reeves has wanted to kind of explore, but I think it's more or less stemming into like sequel potential.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's tricky. When you look at this so far, we got Riddler, Penguin. Who else would you throw in there? I mean, these are two heavy hitters on their own. So to throw in like another prominent character, maybe you could throw in like a Two-Face or something like that, kind of like steering the ship in that kind of a direction. But then is that too much following the trajectory of The Dark Knight, where you have Two-Face kind of come in like in that back half through the end of the movie? So
I definitely don't think he'll be as the exact same thing.
I honestly feel like we're just gonna get, with the exception of what we'll talk later, just Penguin, Riddler, and then a whole probably whack load of cameo, like Easter egg type deals that'll reference potential spoilers for like what could come next, like a Mr. Freeze or something like that. But
so what do you think about any of these people? Lucius Fox, Barbara Gordon, like because I know Jim Gordon's of a certain age right now, but even his kids, stuff like that. Vicky Vale, like other love interests, maybe. It's like anybody on the good side that you could see that from other movies that have been around, but we haven't seen in marketing so far.
Lucius Fox, I don't have enough knowledge on. I for some reason didn't know he was much more like a widely spread Batman character. I thought he was kind of like a
He's kind of 50-50 where I feel like it depends on the person. Sometimes he's in them a lot and sometimes he's not in it at all. And I will say, like, not to set you up, but like Matt Reeves keeps stressing, like, you know, Bruce Wayne made all this stuff by himself. It's all home gear. So I think they are stressing that there is no Lucius Fox as of right now. Okay. I don't think it's going to be happening, but
then I out of the group, I could strongly see a Barbara Gordon kind of coming up into this. And even then, maybe not like the one that we know where she's just going to don the cape and cowl right away, but it could just be like, hey, here she is. She's established in this universe, and she might be showcased later on a sequel or something.
Because technically Barbara Gordon is in the Dark Knight, or she's in Batman Begins and Dark Knight. She's just a little kid. But what about my last one I'll throw at you? What about a certain Boy Wonder, a Dick Grayson, something like that?
I'd love to see a Dick Grayson. Just bring Chris O'Donnell back in just to play the
older
part.
than Pattinson, and he's gonna be fucking Robin.
They can de-age him now.
But this is predictions, Taylor. It's not.
I don't
what
want
you
them
love.
to de-age him. I want just this old Robin.
This is predictions cast here. It's not about what you would love. I'm asking you, yes or no, will you see any semblance of the Graysons, Dick Grayson at all in this film?
I think you really do. I think you really do see some kind of reference to it.
Kirk and Patzer, same thing to you. Good guys, bad guys, good
Yeah,
girls, bad girls.
I could definitely see Vicky Vale in there. We've already seen like quite a few reporter type shots, like, oh, look at the recluse billionaire out of his cave. So I could easily see that just being the role of Vicky Vale. If Barry Keoghan doesn't end up being Joker, maybe Mad Hatter in there.
Oh, I thought you were saying he's Vicky Vale.
No.
Do it. Let's see him. Hey, Bruce. That's my Barry Keoghan.
His Scottish accent.
Yeah.
Or Irish or whatever the hell he is.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't know. Like, my heart tells me that I would love to see Poison Ivy, but I feel like just from what I've been getting from the trailers, I feel like she's the type of character you really want to center majority of the movie around. So I can't really see her just getting shoehorned in there. I don't know. I think what could be really, really fun is like this whole, like this one basically set up around the Riddler, but then let's say Batman takes him out in this movie, so then going forward with future movies, he's just not even a part of it, but I don't know, maybe there was someone else like working with him or something like that, so it just kind of alludes to a bigger villain. My pick for what that villain could be is something like a Court of Owls thing, but I don't know. People have given me reasons to not think that in the past, and it's a big thing. That's why I think it could be really fun if that's like a trilogy type villain, like they kind of are like hinted at throughout the different movies. But I don't know. I think the main reason I'm picking that is I think Pattinson said that he would love to do that in the future. Yeah. So that could be really fun, but I think the easiest pick, honestly, is just like the Vicky Vale one, because they got reporters and she could easily just be that role.
How are you feeling on Robin? Because the only reason I asked is because Dick Grayson, Pattinson also, because they've been hitting them with everything. He said like one of his favorite storylines, Death of the Family. If people don't know, that's when Joker kills Robin, stuff like that. Clearly, you need a lot of stages to get there. But he's even said like, oh, if we do Robin, like, has to be like a 14-year-old kid. It can't be like this, that. He's been talking about it, and I just sometimes, I always wonder with him and Reeves, it's like this stuff that they're talking about. Is it just literally them talking about, it, or is this just stuff that they have kind of maybe roadmap and they're putting that little like thing there? It's almost like Pattinson saying, oh yeah, it needs a 14-year-old kid, so when they cast a 14-year-old kid, everyone's like, oh cool, this is exactly what they wish they could do. So I always wonder, are they just answering questions, or are they planting seeds? And he's mentioned Robin a few times. I personally So here's my thing. In an interview 2 weeks ago, they asked Pattinson how long he'd be playing Batman. And he said, as long as the people want me. So I hope they sign him for like a Robert Downey, like 10, 15 movie deal, and we'll just lock this down. What I really want in the world is I want this trilogy, the Batman trilogy. And then I would like another trilogy after this, but make that like the Batman Robin trilogy. Because I feel like you need a lot of time with a Batman to then start establishing a Robin. I could be wrong. Like, look at Batman Forever. You just met Val Kilmer, and then right away there's a Robin. You could jump to, but I'm saying in a perfect world, I'd love if we got lots of time with Pattinson, and then, okay, right when that story's not ended, but he's met to a point. So for me, it's just kind of, if this is year 2 of the Batman, usually Robin gets introduced a little later on. So that's why I go, I just don't know if it fits, but they have been talking about it a little bit here and there. So what do you feel, Kirklin? And even if it's not this movie, do you feel that we're going to get a Robin at some point in this Matt Reeves trilogy?
Yeah, I think it's definitely possible. My biggest feeling there is if we get him in this initial trilogy, he won't have like a major role, or if he does, it'll be like kind of right at the tail end. And I don't want to just, make people think that it'll be like just like right at the end of the movie, okay, no, this Batman's done, and then he passes it on to the Robin, and then we don't ever get to experience that. Maybe just like,
Are you taking
actually
shots
have...
of Dark Knight Rises? Are you taking
Absolutely,
shots of
yeah.
the movie?
I barely remember that movie. We'll do a retro, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I love Robin. He's great. Kirkland doesn't need an opinion anymore, but no, he's back. He's back.
You're so aggressive today. I don't know if I like this idea of you just taking over the podcast for a week. I'm not gonna have you're gonna change all logins and stuff. Yeah.
S-Bub says probably a few Batman rogues in their early stages, little cameos, not suit up or even fighting Batman, but maybe Iceberg Lounge and something like that. Yeah, I think Iceberg Lounge is just like, that's the Penguins club, and I feel like that, like the club we keep seeing Batman in, that's just the club. I feel like they're just saying it's Iceberg Lounge, stuff like that. S-Bub's kind of said like there maybe Harvey. Harvey could. I feel like Harvey Dent is going to be mentioned. I don't think we're going to see him, but I feel like they may mention like some hotshot district attorney or something like that. But then, like you guys have said, if you just do Two-Face in the sequel, especially if the sequel ends up being like Two-Face and Joker, then it's like, wow, this is really Dark Knight. I have a suspicion that I feel we'll talk about that, if the Joker is in this, I think they're going to keep building the Joker up and leave him for 3. And I think that's the way. But Court of Owls, I think, could definitely be hinted at. I think that's I have something more to say about that in the next part of this, because I have some comments about Matt Reeves who I wanted to talk about concerning Mr. Freeze. But I think you could hint towards it. Again, some of these storylines are bigger ones. It's going to be interesting. I don't think Jim Gordon might have kids. That to me is like a 50-50. If he has kids, though, I don't think it'll be like setting up Barbara to become Batgirl, because we're about to get a Batgirl movie in the next year or so. So I think that's safe. Like I've said, like I was just through to Kirkland, the Robin thing I'm very 50-50 on. So I want to see it, but at the same time, I just don't want it to feel too crammed. And if we already have a Catwoman who I think will be here for the whole trilogy, we may have a Joker coming up, and who knows what other villains, might be a lot. So I don't know. I feel like there could be 1 or 2 minor rogues, like if there was like Scarface and Ventriloquist, like something like that, but no one major, kind of like what S-Bubs was saying, like someone he could just beat up on the side. That's like, oh look, that's like how Mr. Zsasz was in Birds of Prey, like as he was like a little lackey, like even a role like that, but even smaller than that, just some dude who's on the side who's like, oh yeah, like how Tombstone was in the Spider-Verse, something like that.
Like a Zsasz courtroom scene in Batman Begins.
That's very minor. I can't believe they still called that Mr. Zsasz, but hey, maybe it could be. But yeah, let's take our first ad break, and then we're gonna talk about some Mr. Freeze. Somehow, I did not think we'd be talking about that this week, but we will be right back. And we're back. So I wanted to bring this up because I like to do victory laps. I like to when I'm wrong, don't want to talk about, but when I'm right, hashtag Trash told you. So this week, they're making the rounds, right? And I'm bringing this right now because we're talking about characters that could appear, yada, yada. And they asked Matt Reeves about, like, villains he would like to do or stuff like, could you do a Mr. Freeze? I don't even know how they asked the question. Just somehow Mr. Freeze came up in this conversation. And he said, in my view, I just feel drawn to finding the grounded version of everything. Hashtag Trash. So to me, it would be a challenge and an interesting way to try and figure out how that could happen. Even the idea of something like Mr. Freeze, such as a great story, right? I think there's actually a ground version of that story which could could potentially be powerful and could be really great. So I love the fantastical side of Batman, but this iteration, obviously, while being, to me, I think it's very comics faithful, but I don't think that one is necessarily, it doesn't lean hard into the fantastical, I guess. But I think, to me, what would be interesting is try and unwind the fantastical and see how well you could make sense of it here. And so that's kind of my view, how I see it. The reason I brought that up is because me and Heinz have talked about this a few times where after the first trailer, he was talking about Court of Owls, and many people have, right? And I was like, that's not, to me, that's not going to happen. If you look at what he's doing, it's very Nolan-esque, where it's like grounded, real world, these are the set rules of the world. And to me, I was like, Court of Owls is not going to happen because the idea is great of like the secret society, but then once you get into it, it's like, oh, well, there's kind of DNA, sci-fi-ness, and blood splicing and all this stuff where it's like, it just kind of gets a little too comic booky. I said, that's not going to happen. Something like Mr. Freeze would happen. But I always said, like, the reason I said it, because like even like Fanboy Clay, he's like, I'm gonna die before I see a Batman that has to deal with like the fantastical stuff. Like I'm never gonna see in my life. And I did want that because like we got them BVS where Batman's fighting aliens and Darkseid. I want more of that. I want these things. But that was me kind of warning the fans, being like, hey, we're not gonna get that type of Batman villain of this sort. The only way we're gonna get them is exactly what Reeves is saying, is the same way as Bane. You look at Mr. Freeze. Start with Mr. Freeze. He's a guy, he has an ice gun, but he has ice in his veins. Oh, cool party. He has ice in his veins. He can't walk out into a certain temperature till he dies. But the crux of that story is a scientist trying to find a cure for his wife, right? But the other stuff, it's very out there. Court of Owls, like I said, all these weird sci-fi things. Oh my God, the gifts are incoming all. This is definitely a video version one. If you look at Bane, what is he? He's a criminal who injects a steroid called Venom that makes him the size of fucking Godzilla almost. But in Nolan's movies, what is he? He's just a dude that lifts weights. That's very powerful. And that's where I said, you're not going to get that type of birds in Court of Owls. You're not going to get that type of Mr. Freeze. You're not going to get a clay face that's just a big thing of clay and changes. It would have to be Nolanized. And I know some people are disappointed about that, but Reeves is pretty much saying, okay, if I do ever do a Mr. Freeze, and again, maybe this is him just fucking implanting, because man, after all, like, we haven't even seen the movie, but the posters, the trailers, I would kill to see what Matt Reeves would do with the Batman in like a winterscape. Like, think about, I don't know if Kirklin ever saw it, but War for the Planet of the Apes, how he put Caesar and all the monkeys in ice and snow and everything like that. I want to see what he would do with Batman in snow. So Mr. Freeze would be perfect. Anytime, I don't care. Anytime, make Batman the next 2 or 3 a Christmas movie. But it's interesting. So again, he was just asked this. He could just be saying this. But Taylor, what do you feel? Because we've talked about this before. What do you feel about, hey, if we do see some of these very outlandish, very comic booky villains, that it will be more the Nolan route, where you look at Ra's al Ghul, right? Ra's al Ghul is a guy that has a criminal organization and can never die because he has the Lazarus pit, this goo that brings him back to life. But in Nolan's, it's just, well, Ra's al Ghul lives on forever because it's a title that gets passed down. And the Lazarus Pit, oh, it's literally just a prison called the Pit. You know, like that's an adaptation. So it sounds like if Reeves is going to do these large-in-life characters, we're going to be getting kind of that again, those ground versions. So how do you feel about that as far as, you know, things we may see in the future for this franchise?
Personally, I love the take that Nolan has with those kind of realistic characters, or not realistic characters, the realistic approach and aesthetic to those characters. I love it. That is kind of like what hits my rhythm. So that being said, I got nothing against the flamboyant characters of the previous hero movies of the past, but some of their costumes are like very, very cool and very awesome. But then you have like a very cool, realistic aesthetic to the ones that you see in like the Arkham series. Those characters, like the way they are modeled and stuff, look awesome. And I'd love to see that kind of interpretation up on the big screen. Whereas I don't need to see Matt Reeves do something like this.
Okay,
like
he showed a picture of no. He showed a picture of Mr. Freeze from Batman and Robin with his polar bear slippers and a robe. I don't even think Matt Reeves would do that, but I think it's the thing of like, if you were to get a Poison Ivy, I don't know if he would make her a woman that could literally control plants. I don't think we're talking he's gonna go so like Mr. Freeze. Batman and Robin was standing. He's a very like sad and tragic character who's just trying to help his wife, but he happens to have a freeze gun and he's like made of like ice now. I don't think he's gonna go that far.
Polar bear slippers and everything. Again, every character in comic books, as far as I'm aware, every character can be written in a realistic Nolan-esque type manner.
How would you do Silver Surfer in a realistic Nolan type manner?
Silver Surfer. I
I
mean,
think
the name doesn't
few.
have to be literal. I mean, they can do whatever kind of interpretation they want, but it will be well received. Probably not, but I mean, Silver Surfer in a realistic approach. I mean, he's an alien. That's enough said right there. Just
It's
run
like
with
Signs.
it. Yeah,
You like never see him.
you
Just-
never
it's
see
like
him.
terrifying.
It's the camcorder at the birthday party, and he strolls out of the bush.
Everyone
No,
screams.
he surfs by really quickly, like you don't see him. And because you've been on the other side of like as a disappointed fan, what do you say to those fans that were like that? They've been waiting to like they want like what not now this people are gonna sound bad and they're gonna come after me. But the way you look at like MCU, where it's like, okay, there's lots of comic booky stuff, but they try and make it seem as realistic as possible, right? There's certain things that just break the, disbelievability as far as like Thanos and once again Endgame, but other things that are okay, very fantastical, but we try to ground them. What do you think about for those fans that might be disappointed that hey, you're not gonna get, like I said, a poison ivy that could literally control plants. You're not gonna get a Bane that, hits a button called Venom and he becomes like the size of a brick building.
I mean, you could have Bane with like steroids being injected into his body or whatever, just kind of like going ham. If you want to do a poison ivy like necessarily like controlling plants, I mean, there's different ways to write something like that. And it just depends on how well you really sell. I mean, having a great actress or actor portraying this character and then having a really good backstory and kind of developing progression on the screen to showcase how they're doing it and making it realistic. I mean, in terms of in realistic, if you want to talk realistic, I mean, there's black holes up in space that literally suck shit into it. Like, I mean, you wouldn't think something like that is realistic, but I mean, as far as why not have someone control plants? I'm sure there's brilliant minds out there and brilliant writers. I'm sure they could spin it and create something, not like Little Shop of Horrors, like giant plant, but like something along those lines.
They could easily too just explain it through technology or something, like have certain plants react in a certain sense. I don't know, through audio waves, something like that. They probably have that in real life.
They got the Shyamalan movie, The Happening, and they could just parallel off something like that with the plants doing their own thing.
Patzer, what do you feel about us getting some more kind of grounded characters? As Bub says, I'd love to do that. Choose a few characters and try and Nolanize them. That'd be a fun writing activity, and it is fun. I'm personally like Taylor, where I'm fine for both. I do want to live in a world at some point where we get Batman just going up against some super like messed up comic booky people, because again, I don't know if I need another Joker that has to paint his face. I want a Joker that fell in an acid vat of chemicals and he's bleached white. Who knows that happens? But Kirklin, where are you on this as far as Matt Reeves kind of saying that, hey, I might do some of these characters, but if so, I have to maybe change a few things because they're maybe not going to fit in the world that I've created.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I feel like anytime that we can get these fantastical characters in a Batman live action movie, it's awesome. It's good just showing general audience some of the crazy characters that are actually in the Batman fandom. But yeah, for thinking of a more grounded Mr.Freeze, I think it's almost like a fun challenge for him to like take that as an example, because that's like probably just one of the wackiest ones.
Yeah, that's tough.
I'm sure there's a lot more. I'm not the most well read when it comes to Batman, but still,
Man Bat would be tough.
Man Bat. Not
I think
familiar with
Poison
that
Ivy's
one.
tough too. Just this woman who can control plants.
absolutely.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like,
No, absolutely. I think the Mr. Freeze, especially when you're comparing it to those gifts that Taylor was bringing up, it's a hard ask to have something like that grounded, but I could definitely see them just kind of very much keep the character true to what he is, like his motivations and stuff like that. Like that is pretty easy to have it grounded. I mean, we saw that with the Schwarzenegger version, right? With just trying to save his wife, and that's a very realistic goal. When you add the freeze ray and the fucking full-on suit and everything, you're going on the other side of the spectrum there. But nonetheless, like he doesn't have to have all of that to be Mr. Freeze.
No.
I would really like to see what he can actually come up in that sense. And yeah, just to have a chance to see this Robert Pattinson in like more of a snowy Gotham or something like that. Like
Yeah.
that could be such a fun, I don't know, going for an eternal winter or something like that, and that's the plot line of the movie. That sounds really, really fun to me, and I definitely trust Matt Reeves. He has so much passion for Batman, so I don't think he'll do something completely ridiculous that kills the character of Batman and the love for it, because I mean, just seeing him in interviews, that you can see the passion for it, and yeah, no, I think it's lots of fun that he's having that talk as opposed to just going for like the easiest characters to have grounded. Let's get wild. There's so much good characters to pull from.
Which he did this go around, right? Like Riddler, Penguin, Catwoman. Those are very easy people. Like they're pretty much grounded in their lonesome already, you know. So
It's a good
and,
starting
like,
point, and
yeah,
then you
and-
can dive into the crazier things afterwards.
Yeah,
once
and
you
if
once
they
you gotta
if they have Joker coming up, then that's another like grounded character, you know. So
doesn't have to be.
doesn't have to be, but they'll do it. Clay says, fanboy Clay, not old timer Clay. You know what, Clay? You know, I know because you use Clay and it just doesn't roll off the tongue for me. Old timer Clay. I think that's what I'm going to be sticking with. Old timer Clay. So there you go. Tell me if you like it. I want to ground Mad Hatter, and Mad Hatter, like it's weird to say because he has like mind control tech, but I feel like that's easier for me to buy than some of those. So I think you could get it. I just don't think Mad Hatter.
Hypnosis.
Well, exactly. I think Mad Hatter, if you ever see him, will be like a Penguin level goon. I don't think he's ever going to be like the main villain of a Batman movie, though. You know, I don't.
I mean, Batman's already descending into madness in this movie with all the riddles he's going to be solving. So it's the first step. This just leads to Mad Hatter being the villain for movie 2. Goes down that rabbit hole trying to find Alice.
Oh, I hope not, but maybe. So speaking of, I know what I was gonna say with Freeze. Yeah, I think all you need to do is like all in the game says all you have to do is explain away the freeze ray and it'll all make sense and be grounded. I think you don't necessarily even need the suit. You don't need to make him needing cold temperatures. You just need the gun and you need his wife in peril, and that's all you got to do. You know, so. Very easy. So we'll see. I guarantee you, as we've said before, I think Matt Reeves knows the villain for however many movies he's planning on making. I think Matt Reeves knows the villain and story for every single one, as this man already has 2 shows in production. So I think he, you know, and maybe that's why he's happy talking about Mr.Freeze, because he's like, I'm not fucking doing that, but this will be fun to talk about for a second. Or maybe he is, and we're playing right into it. So speaking of villains, we'll end off this conversation. Our final yes or no. We've heard lots of rumors. We've seen a certain brother's post on Facebook about him playing the Joker. Do we or do we not, Kirklin Patzer, see here is a Joker? It's tough to say because like I guess you could just hear him, but I mean like, is there a confirmation of a Joker existing in this world? Yes or no?
I want to say no, but it's gonna be a yes.
It's happening. It's over for you.
Yeah, it is over for me.
Yeah. And I can't wait for that review. It's gonna happen, and I hope they do it in a cool way. So then, right when you get, you're like, man, I can't wait to see Batman and Joker square off. You know, because
Yeah, as reluctant as I am to say for like a Batman in this, or sorry, a Joker in this Batman universe already, when I see it, I'm probably gonna just stand up and cheer because it'll be crazy. And I trust Matt Reeves to handle it really well, and just seeing Pattinson like across from a character like that's some gold right there.
Mm-hmm. Bob Day says, give me Hugo Strange and Clayface. Hugo Strange would be great. He's like an evil psychiatrist.
Mm-hmm.
Clayface, like I said, I just don't think you could do it in this way. You'd have to do is like, oh, it's a master of disguise, and that's fun to do. I just do want a big bottle of clay who like turns into people. You know, I want that one day. But Hugo Strange, easily, we might be talking about him a little bit in the next comic versions. But yeah, he was a great villain in Arkham City as well. So he'd be a natural fit, I think, in this world. So. Taylorfield, yes or no? Are we going to be having a Joker presence confirmed?
Yes. That percentage has only been going up.
Yeah.
With rumors and all this mumbo jumbo. And yeah, I think we're probably, my percentage at least is like 99.7%.
So I think when we first heard the news, I was like a 50-50. And then as news kept coming, I was like, man, I'm just 100%. Just the way it was going. And like I said, it was strange. like, I don't get me wrong, everyone says this, but just the way when they ask Barry of like, hey, you want to talk about Batman, how he just shut that shit fast, or shut that down shit, shut that shit down so fast, like he was laying on a cable bill, just like, no, talking about it. I can't talk about that. I was already 100%. I had something shared, and I will say what I had shared to me is not like it can be fine on public record. It's not a spoiler. I didn't talk to anyone that's seen the review screenings, anything like that. I was already 100%, so I'm not changing my opinion there. I just had something shared to me by someone that even made it more so. I was like, okay, this is it, to me it's a done deal, and it's one of these things that, again, I get there's lots of Batman and Joker in the world, but you just got to think about it this way. Yes, we got one scene in the Snyder cut. Well, we got one scene in the Snyder cut, but they haven't had a face off. And I guess, okay, you can count the Lego Batman movie. I don't necessarily count that. So in live action, the last time you had it was 2008. That was, God, what was that? 12 years ago now, since they had an actual face off. So that's where it's like, it feels like, because we get a lot of it in comic books and animation. Oh, we get all the time, but really a full on Batman versus Joker movie, 12 years. So we're kind of overdue. So, Bob Day says flex, not necessarily flex, just someone looked at someone had good eyes for something and caught something. So like I said, it might even be out there already too. So, let's see we'll go to Old Timer Clay's question, because he had one again. This was on my list, but he asked it, and he asked it better than I did. Which major characters, if any, will die? This is something I haven't thought about or considered, but somebody has to bite it, right? I'm thinking Riddler. I'll go first on this one. I actually think majority of our main characters are going to survive. I think Riddler, unless Riddler dies of his own doing, and I guess I should have made this a prediction. Maybe I'll ask it right after. But unless he dies of his own doing, I don't think Batman will be killing anybody in this movie deliberately. Clay, manslaughter and murder. I don't think he's going to have a knife and stab at him. May he hit a vehicle that kills somebody? Sure. May someone fall off a building? Sure. But I don't think Batman's deliberately going out there, hunt them down, kill them. So I don't think Riddler will die. I think he could go into Arkham. Batman is going to kill someone. He's not going to kill someone. He might commit some manslaughter. But again, Clay, if you ever go to court, you need a really, really good lawyer, because you said laws are opinions. That's not true, man. Laws are not opinions. Those are laws. That's not an opinion. You'd be fucked. Don't be Ted Bundy. Don't represent yourself. So I don't think he's going to kill Riddler. So if anybody, maybe it'd be like some cop, like Taylor's favorite cop that's like, hey, Mr. Wayne, like that guy. Like, I think people, I guess like Clay's question said, any major characters. To me, that's Gordon, Batman, Catwoman, Riddler. No, I don't think so. Catwoman's going to be saved, Selina's going to be saved, so she become Catwoman. Obviously, Batman's not going anywhere. I think Alfred could at some point, but not in this movie. Gordon's not going anywhere, and I wouldn't really want him to in movie one. And I guess Riddler could, but I also, there's been rumors that he may get a show, right? That could be a prequel, but I just feel like to get that point across, because I do feel with what the comments have said, Batman won't be killing. I think Riddler will just go to prison. So Kirklin, I'll ask you, will any major characters die? And just to symbolize it, like I said, I didn't even think about this, but will Batman kill anybody? So a twofer for you, two predictions in one.
Yeah, I don't think Batman will kill anybody. I prefer him better when he doesn't. So that's as far as I'm gonna go on that one. And then
there might be an accident, but he's not gonna kill anybody,
Yeah, no, I think story-wise they could play it really well if he does kill someone. Maybe he's not intentionally trying to, but it ends up happening. That's kind of a big weight on him. That could be good for story purposes, but I don't know. I just don't think he will. And
Buster?
What's that?
Buster? Poor Buster?
Poor Buster. I don't know what that is. What's Buster?
Did you, I don't know if Kirkland's prepared for our comic book virgins we're recording after this.
Oh, he was an ego? Okay. I don't remember Buster.
He's the man with the family.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember him much either, Kirkland.
Okay, well, hold on. Batman didn't kill him.
No, he didn't, but it's definitely something that weighs on him.
Yeah.
Definitely weighed on him.
So a lot of that could happen in this movie. That doesn't mean he's killing anyone. But, yeah, and then for the main cast dying, I don't know. My initial thought could be Riddler, just to have like a conclusion for this villain. I don't want to have that happen. This version looks really crazy. You know, we're getting Zipper Mouth in here. I want him to stick around, but also, yeah. And then I think just I have more doubts in him dying after like the talks of him possibly getting a show down the line. So yeah, I think he'll stick around. I don't think anyone will really get murked. I don't know, maybe the odd random villain on Vespa crashes into a wall or something like that. It's not really Batman's fault, but yeah, that's not a main character anyways.
He blew out the tires. He like removed the windshield, shot the guy in the heart. Oh no, it won't happen. Taylor, 3 questions. Will anyone die majorly? Is Batman gonna kill? And did you take any notes for comic virgins? Because man, I hope you remember some stuff.
I do remember some stuff. I just still don't I don't know where the line goes. Like you said, like okay, like the first few issues, but like I went
pages.
far. Yeah, I lost track of the pages. Like I went far into that. Like just a little thing. Like I went like to like the past the Catwoman stuff to like the black and white portion. Like I went so far. But the other question, do I think Batman's gonna kill anyone? I kind of want to say yes.
You
but
want to say yes?
No. I feel like I want to say yes because of the way they set the trailers up and everything. I feel like I'm getting the vibe. But what I'm gonna genuinely say, and for the record, and for the media and the press listening, I do believe that he is not going to kill. I think this is gonna focus on kind of like that year one aspect a lot, where he's still getting the ropes in and he's trying to. He doesn't want to succumb to that. I think the big difference between your Ben Affleck's Batman and your Robert Pattinson's Batman is, you know, the experience and the tribulations that older Batman has gone through versus the young, and I don't want to say arrogant, but maybe like the bold kind of mindset that he has, like, hey, like I'm gonna stick to this kind of, these are my morals, I'm gonna stick to it. He hasn't gone through the pain, the suffering that older Batman has gone through to warrant such neglect over his morals to kill people. So I think we're not gonna see him kill anyone in this sense. And yeah, I mean, even then, when you look at the Nolan trilogy, I mean, Batman didn't kill anyone in Batman Begins. I mean, questionable with Ra's al Ghul, sure, but I don't see him as actually killing that guy. You know, he just opted not to save him.
That's one where I do go. It's like it's a little like it's definitely in the gray area, leaning towards the killing, you know. But Ra's al Ghul put himself on that train, you know, like he didn't technically kill him,
and he could have put himself off that train too. But like
he could have 100%.
What was the last question you had?
Any major character's gonna die?
No, I think Matt Reeves is going to keep everyone alive so that he can use them as source material for later on, at least in this first film.
Christian Bale in Batman Begins was like, I missed the part where that was my problem, says that's Bub. So yeah, pretty much. Bob Days throws in a random prediction. What character do you think will not be in the movie but you would want to be referenced?
Croc. Killer Croc, get him in there.
I thought, man, this is gonna be such a hard one. I have nothing. Like, this is on the spot. Taylor, without a blink of an eye, Croc right away. Killer Croc. Oh man, Kirklin, you have someone? Who do you think will not be referenced in the movie, but you would want them to be referenced in the movie? That's tough.
Yeah, I'll go back to my girl Poison Ivy here. I think it'd be fun, even if. Again, I don't think she'll be in it just because it doesn't really fit the movie, but I think it'd be lots of fun if there's just mentioned of some scientists in the world, you know, doing work on plants, and it's just mentioned there, even if it's an Easter egg now and then possibly, you know, developed down the line in the trilogy. I think that could be lots of fun, but I don't think she's gonna be in there.
Oh, it's a tough one. Like, I really can't. Like it's tough. I don't have anybody that I'm like because like again, before those rumors came out, I would have said Joker just because I kind of want that in the world with the makeup and everything like that. Who I think will not get referenced? Yeah, that one's tough. I think I'm stumped. Like maybe, like I said, I would just go with Scarface and Ventriloquist because I'm a big fan of those guys. I don't think you guys know who they are, but it's just a guy who thinks his you'll like this, Taylor. He thinks his ventriloquist puppet is alive.
I'd love to see that.
The ventriloquist puppet is the actual mob boss. Like he's a mob boss that runs parts of Gotham, but like it's actually the puppeteer guy. But the puppet's name is Scarface. It's a whole deal. So I would love that if they were just like, yeah, and I dealt with some fucking puppet at some point. Because like it's grounded because the puppet is not real. They always try to make it seem like it might be real. But yeah, that's what I'd do, you know? So first person I thought about with that row question was Croc, but I didn't want to say it. That's all right, S-Bubs. Taylor said it for you. So we know we were just talking about National Fuck on the Batmobile Day. Do we think... So I guess there's two things. I guess there's a few things here. Scarface is awesome, Bob Day says, but there's a few things I don't know how I want to phrase this. But like, what is going to be the status of Batman and Catwoman's relationship by the time this movie ends? Like, will they still be friendly? Will they would have kissed? Will they would have gone it on? Clearly, we know that Bruce knows Selina is just Selina. She's gonna become Catwoman, but she doesn't know who Batman is. So, Kirk, like, what do you think is the dynamics here? Do you think we're gonna get some romance? Do you think it's just gonna be very, you know, no pun intended, like cat and mouse? Do you think they'll be on good terms at the end? I'm throwing a lot at you, but just what do you expect from the Batman? Because I feel like they've shown lots in the trailers that can really get us to go either way when this movie ends, as far as where they will be with one another.
Yeah, I think they're showing way too much sexual energy. Not you know, not to give us a kiss or something on screen. But with that being said, I think it could likely go the route of it ending with the cat and mouse gang. Like maybe like he's just really starting to, you know, just swoon over this lady who's very attractive, easy on the eyes, but then maybe she just, I don't know, uses him for information to get something, and then he kind of feels betrayed there. But you know, they shared that nice kiss. It's nothing uncommon. I feel like with like those two, Batman and Catwoman, that dynamic. But I think it could easily go that route. Just so going into the second movie, when we do see her, it'll mean a lot. Not just like, oh yeah, that's their snogging buddy, you know. I think there'll be a lot more emphasis on when they meet the second time. So I think it'll end some sort of matter where, I don't know, maybe she helps him out to get his goal, but she also had an ulterior motive, and then going into the second movie, he kind of has to deal with that loose end. But I mean, by the end of the trilogy, come on, they're gonna be like Christian Bale and what's her face? Anne Hathaway. There you go, in Paris.
Really? I think by the end of this
Probably
trilogy,
not,
it's going to be really tragic. For some reason,
they'll be on a Batmobile, you know, celebrating February 16th.
She'll die mid-orgasm. So, something really terrible.
Jeez.
But do you, jeez, do you think that she's going to know Bruce's Batman by the end of this movie, Kirklin?
I'm gonna say yes because this movie seems to be really personal for not only Batman but like Bruce Wayne as the character. Like we're seeing a lot of Bruce just in trailers and stuff. It seems like it's centered around like the Waynes, like not even just him, like his parents and stuff like that. So I don't know. I feel like his identity will be revealed, at least to her. Sounds like Riddler already knows who he is, but especially if they're just getting really close, I could definitely see that happening. But I mean, I'm not very confident on it. Like maybe like 60%. Yes, I wouldn't be surprised if we end this movie and she still only knows him as the Bat.
Do you guys think Batman is going down, or says Bob Days? No, Warner Brothers won't let that happen.
He's going down, all right.
No, they won't let that happen.
Catwoman.
No, remember? I like that you said some Catwoman. Like, what a weird way to phrase
some Catwoman.
On not this Catwoman. No, remember, Batman doesn't do that according to Warner Brothers. So, I think that, yeah, I'm very much like Kirkland, where I think that they will be. I think he's gonna meet her. He's gonna be like, "Oh, who's this woman? Can I trust her?" And then throughout the whole movie, she's gonna constantly like gain his trust, and he's gonna be like, "This is great." great. Like I got maybe a partner or something, and I think she's gonna use him. I don't know what for. I don't even know if it's gonna be similar to Dark Knight Rises, where Catwoman was like working with Bane for a little bit. So they might not want to do that with her working with Riddler, but I could see something to that extent. But at the same time, I don't know if it goes the other way. I've always been thinking Selina's gonna do the turn. There was a shot in trailer 2 that we talked about like months and months ago, and it's just they're clearly in the same scene together, and it's Batman just beating down some guy, and then they show Selina and she looks like scared. It was at the second Phantom. She looks like scared for her life. So maybe it's the reverse, or maybe she's just like, yeah, dude, like you're fucking messed up. Like I can't, like I'm not gonna risk being around you. So I think either way, it'll look like a blossoming, trusting relationship, maybe, or like something that could be, and then it'll get cut out from the knees. Just so, because like I said, I think Selina's gonna be in this whole trilogy. I think Selina might end up, like I said, dying at some point. But I could see I think number 2 is when I think a kiss is gonna happen. Number 2 is when they're gonna get it on. You'll get that real Batmobile scene and stuff like that. Because I think she will not know. That's my prediction. She will not know Bruce is Batman. I think they could do like a Mary Jane Spider-Man 2002 where like they kiss and she kind of has like an idea. But the funny thing is we know they're in scenes together because we know they're in the funeral scene, and we know there's that club scene, but we've not seen much of Bruce and Selina together. And I really think that club scene when Batman and her in the same club, I feel like he knows something bad's going to happen to her, so he has to show up there to try and stop it, but he can't show up there as Batman. So that's why he's Bruce Wayne in a club, but he has like a huge hood over himself, like he's hiding himself. So I feel like when they're going to save that for down the line. Or if she does know, it's not going to be revealed. It's going to be like she might have an idea. So
You can have an idea.
I have an idea.
Luckily, he was ending his thoughts.
Yeah,
I was. Taylorfield,
Yeah.
go ahead. What do you think is the, are they kissing? They get it on? Identities? What's going on with Batman and Catwoman in this movie?
Oh, man. I think the Riddler's going to get it on in there, too. No, I think that...
With who? With
The
who?
zipper mouth
both of them, yeah.
With him, with his mask.
in Arkham.
I think that there will be a kiss, definitely. I think as far as his identity being exposed, I'm trying to look at the comparison of the Nolan trilogy. Now, you have the last movie of the trilogy, so obviously they just went ahead and just let out his identity to
Like right away.
Hathaway. And then you have the Michelle Pfeiffer version where that was the only one we got of Catwoman and Batman and that iteration. So obviously, okay, yeah, we're going to expose the identity there. What makes this different apart from those two is this is the start of future, like a future arc of films. So I think, like you said, they save that. They can dive into that later on. I think there's such a rich amount of story that you can tackle by having her not know that he is Batman right away and just kind of go with the parallel of, hey, here's Bruce Wayne and then Selina Kyle, and then, oh, here's Batman and Catwoman, and just the dynamic, like you said, he's in the club with the hood on, she's kind of like wearing the wig and stuff like that, just trying to he's trying to have a handle on the situation and everything. I think it is some great parallels you can kind of tackle and dive into. So you're probably right. At the end of this movie, we'll probably see some kind of they'll be in a graveyard and she'll kiss him and then she'll touch her lips or whatever, and he'll be walking away. And then Robert Pattinson will be like, with great power comes great vengeance or something like that.
Just rip it completely off. You know who I am? I'm Spider-Man. Dun, dun, dun. Fuck. As it says on the Batmobile with the suit or as Bruce Wayne. Well, I feel like it has to be with the suit off because I feel like here's the thing. I don't see it as much. I think the game for Selina is there's gonna be sexual tension there, right? But I don't think Selina. Oh God, what are you laughing about?
It's the meme. Kirklin, you got me.
God damn.
I waited for you to stop talking.
Sorry,
be quiet.
So, here's the thing. I think it's a game with Selina. So I don't think they're gonna be attracted, but I don't think she's gonna accept the mask on Batman. I feel like, hey, I'll get it on with you, but you gotta reveal your identity. I don't think Bruce is just gonna unzip and he's just gonna be the Batman suit and then He's
Batman
he's
suit and what?
he's not just gonna have the Batman suit and then like a lone flesh dick hanging out. And she's like, "Hey, let's do this." Like if they knew each other, sure, but no, I think that's the game with Selena. He's gonna have to take off his mask if he wants to take off his pants. So it's gonna be, I guess, technically as Bruce Wayne whenever they get it on, you know. So.
Travis, I'm gonna do you a favor. I'm gonna pull this meme up so you can read it here. For the viewers, it's a drop of the symbiote.
I leave for 1 second.
He's like, the Peter is at the wrestling thing. The guy's like, now get out of here. Peter's Marvel Studios saying one drop the contracts of the whole character.
You just saw this, Taylor?
I just saw this. It's freaking hilarious. The contracts say I give you Venom, not Tom Hardy. For that, you get a drop. And you're lucky to have that.
This was out like last week, but you know it's fine.
Oh, that's so good.
I didn't see it till now.
No, sure. No, that's why you get some good ones in, but that's a meme rule that we have, right? For me, if I've seen it before, it's like I can't drop it the meme laugh. So, anything else Batman wise we want to predict or say anything? That's all the ones I got.
15 days? Is that
Do
what
we
it is?
see Bruce Wayne's parents get murdered again?
I thought you were gonna say penis after that question, but
And that.
no, we don't. Both.
Okay.
No
What
penis
about you,
and no
Kirkland?
parents.
Like we see them, but I don't think we see them get murdered.
I'll say yes.
Oh God.
To the penis?
He said no.
Yes to
penis
both.
In the same scene or separate scenes?
Okay, he's a child in that scene. Let's move along.
Oh, yeah.
They're
shit.
just they're fucking on the car. He gets like a flashback scene, like a fucking Mando or something.
Okay, let's take an ad break. Let's
Shit's
get
crying.
the fuck out of here. Move to a different topic. We're drowning. We're gonna take our second ad break and we'll be right back. And we're back. So let's talk about some other stuff, some Paramount announcements. Like I said, Taylor had this. I completely forgot. So let's see here. Anyways, sorry, I got a notification about something. Paramount announced a bunch of stuff this week because they were doing some sort of like I think earn recordings call or something like that. I'm gonna rattle off a bunch of stuff and then you can just say what you're gonna talk about because I feel like there's some stuff in here that some of us feel more strongly about than others. But they announced stuff like they're renewing Halo for season 2 before it's even aired, so you got that going on. Sonic 3 is in development with a Knuckles TV series. You have Star Trek 4 happening with the original crew of this J.J. Abrams franchise produced. And I feel like was there one more thing? And A Quiet Place 3 has been confirmed. It's not coming out till 2025. So Taylor, I feel like almost all those things work for you. So what are your thoughts on some of the announcements?
Yeah, I mean, I'm flabbergasted on a lot of it, to be honest. I mean, we're getting Quiet Place Part 3 for 2025, and then they confirmed for 2023 a Quiet Place spin-off taking place in that same kind of universe, which is pretty cool. I'm excited to see the context of that. Again, we're getting Star Trek. Additionally, with that, I think Paramount announced that with you mentioned not with JJ necessarily,
Well, he's
but
producing it. Yeah.
He's producing it. Oh, okay, and they're looking at like Chris Pine and the same like cast to come back, which is pretty cool. I love all the characters and the actors portraying these characters in those films, so that's great.
You didn't even know JJ didn't direct the third one. You're like,
I
you
think
love
you
JJ.
told-
Why didn't you see the third one?
I know, yeah.
That's
it was
why,
a
because
bait.
JJ didn't direct
That was
it.
full on a bait question for sure.
Yeah.
We're getting some Transformers stuff too.
Right.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that was announced by Paramount Plus.
Trilogy,
as well.
new trilogy.
Yeah, so Rise of the Beasts, that's going to be coming out theatrically in 2023, the first of 3 new installments, which is super cool. And then they're expanding too with 2024. We're getting a CG animated Transformers theatrical film, which is pretty awesome actually, and some new animated series as well that's going to be popping off. Earthspark, I believe, is the name. Yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 again. Like, I attribute that franchise's success to me raving about it and buying that hard copy of Sonic
Fuck
1
off.
in the
That's
store.
not why.
I supported that movie true and true. And
What did you
know,
say?
True and true.
That's not the expression.
What is the expression?
through and through, not true and true.
It was double true, Bob.
I support that movie, true and true.
What does true and true mean?
No, it's
two
through and
statements on
through.
either side rather than just true or false. Well, that's a fucking
You're not right here,
coding.
Taylor. No matter what you Google.
Yeah, I don't know what you're trying to spin here, but it's not happening. It's through and through. Have you been saying that your whole life now?
Yes, I've actually mispronounced a
God.
few things. Like, I gotta let you know a little Easter egg here. So,
No,
When
that's not an Easter egg either.
there, shit.
An Easter egg is something hidden that would allude to something else. You're about to reveal truth.
A truth. Okay, here's a
A
truth.
true.
When you get secondhand clothes, it would be called hand-me-down. What's the term?
Hand me
Hand-
downs.
yes.
Hand-me-downs?
Yeah, because you're
Yes.
handing them down.
Okay, I used to call it handy-downs. I thought that's what it was.
That's something
No, that's
else.
something else in the streets.
That's what Patson's getting
Hey.
a movie too with Batman.
Calling those handy downs. Yeah. Get away from me, you
Oh.
bum.
Sonic, yeah, Sonic 3 is just fantastic. I'm stoked on that.
Well,
Sonic,
no, it's not. Sonic 3 is not even out yet. You don't know if it's fantastic. Sonic 2 could suck.
Oh no, it won't suck. It's gonna be great.
Oh, with Taylor's support. True and true.
Yeah. True and true. I gotta buy that hard copy of Sonic, the Sonic 2. But and we're getting a Knuckles series. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. Idris Elba coming back into the fold to play Knuckles. That's just fantastic.
But do you like? And I like Kirkland's a big Sonic guy here too, but I feel like the Knuckles series is maybe a bit overkill. Like that's one thing where I'm like, I don't know if they
No,
needed.
come
What do you
on.
mean no? Like I don't know if they needed
What
to
do you
Pinch
think
it,
is
Kirkland.
overkill? Yeah, well, I feel like one of my favorite things about Sonic, like the live action movie, was the Sonic characters that were shown, and they were shown so briefly when they're actually in like the Sonic world before they come to live action world. There was a bunch of different, I don't know what type of species they'd be, but there was like a group of them, and they looked really, really good. The CGI looked phenomenal. I think if we get a Knuckles series, we get to explore a lot more of those types of characters. We get him, by this point, he'll make the turn to being good, and I think it'll just be him kind of tracking down and trying to save the Chaos Emerald, and that's awesome. That sounds so much fun to me. So I really like the idea of this news. I think just interacting with more Sonic-y type characters, because that was definitely my favorite part of the show was Sonic. Just as the character, all the effects looked really good in the CGI characters. My least favorite part was maybe like just the human interactions, and hopefully if we get just a Knuckles-oriented show, it's mostly just that. It's the Sonic characters that we're interacting with, and it sounds so awesome. I really hope it does really well, and yeah, I'll be reviewing that one.
Amen.
Really, you guys are gonna do with the Knuckles series?
Well, fuck yeah, why not?
I'm down. Let's do it.
I feel, and fans keep hold them to that promise. Hold them to that
We'll be
promise.
true and true.
I
I
really feel like that's not gonna happen. But yeah, I'm just somebody like I get it. Like I get the success. I guess it's just Paramount. They need that, right? And they have some successful franchises, but they just really need to stick to the ones that are really working. That's one thing I learned when I was watching Super Bowl this weekend. That man, Peacock, because the Super Bowl's on NBC. No wonder why Peacock lost fucking $1.7 billion. Everything they showed on there, it's like I don't want to watch any of this. Like the Joe versus Carol. Like I'm a Tiger King fan, but like that Joe versus Carol. What was their other big show? Oh, like the drama version of Bel Air, like all this stuff. Like I get what they're trying, but man, like I have no interest. And so far at Paramount Plus, I wouldn't say I have no interest, but so far it's been very little as far as I just don't think like maybe you guys might get on a Canadian service, but like would you really be paying like $10 a month so you could watch Knuckles the series?
Yep. There's a few other things.
Kirkland's a maybe. Yeah, see, holding this review. We'll just write it off nowadays, but fuck, like, it's just, I don't know. It's just like, I feel like they're really, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's test audiences, I guess, for more kid friendly. I guess. I just think the Knuckles series, like, is this one that, like, is this going to be worth the money? Is this going to be worth the investment is what I'm saying. Sonic 3, absolutely.
Echidnas, that's what they're called, the little creatures.
Taylor did highlight that about
Echidnas?
10 minutes ago. But
Isn't it like echidnas?
I don't think so.
what the fuck? But no, I was gonna say I just feel like Sonic 3 I completely understand, but I Knuckles, I don't know. I just don't see it. SBUP says apparently not even the Olympics are bringing in that many new subs for Peacock. You know why? Because I know they can't control. Like, and we had some idea to watch because Emily's a big fan. I'm like, oh, watch some Olympics. All the fucking Olympic events are just like fucking just like 11 p.m., 12 a.m. Like, it's just like, I don't want to fucking watch this shit. And do I want to watch this the next day? No. So it's just like, I feel from the summer games and these games, man, I've never felt the Olympics talked about like least in my life. Would you guys agree with that? I feel
my
like
sister's following the hockey, definitely.
Yeah.
So whenever she updates that on Twitter, I'll see it. But no, yeah, we saw like an ad for the Olympics. I just turned to Shay. I'm like, I completely forgot this was even going on. Like, there's just no hype for it.
And it was not that way. I feel like it was so encompassing all the times before. And I'm not sure if it's because of COVID. I'm not sure if people were not like, because they're not happy where it is for political reasons and stuff like that. I don't know what if it's just a combination of it all, or maybe it's just kind of like the way the Oscars are, where it's like the Olympics, like these really big events, like unless you're the Super Bowl, which as Taylor reported earlier went well, unless you're the Super Bowl. It went true and true. Like, I feel like these big events are really like they're losing their like steam and fluster. And like the Olympics for me is like it's on Prime. I can watch it all. Like, it's a click of a button, but it's just we haven't, So
I didn't even know it was on Prime.
yeah. And what about you? Have you been following Olympics at all, or is it just?
I
like
followed the Jurassic World commercials. The skier going down the hill and like the T-Rex came out at her. That was good shit.
Derpy Gaming says, I just saw Jimmy Kimmel clip for the Batman, if you didn't know about that. No, I didn't. What was the clip about Marley? And if so, just tell me, so I might try to find it after.
Just confirms they're fucking on the Batmobile.
just just a clip. And Frank, Frank, I don't know what you're meaning there. You might want to say, or you might be a bot. But you know what? I always like to have fun. These guys hate when I point out the bots and stuff like that. Oh, man. Taylor, you missed a good one on the someone got us good. Dylan's gonna be mad that I'm bringing this up again. But so there was a commenter, and we were talking about a character, and then they said like "so hot" or something like that, and I thought they were talking about the character, but it was just to prank me because the title of their name was Dildo Gaggins, and it was you would appreciate this. It was a dildo, and the tit was Bilbo's face when he gets mad, and he's like, ah. And I also think it might just be Taylor's burner account now that I think about it. But
holy shit.
Yeah. Taylor, actually. Oh, and what do you think? Obviously, you're excited. Halo Season 2, that's confirmed. Even though we have all these problems that keep popping up, lawsuits, showrunners leaving.
On the note of the lawsuit, like I totally stand with, again,
fuck Frank. You want to bring that up?
Got me.
It?
Peacock having to use clutch when I'm in the mood. I hop on the cock.
That's the only reason.
They're jumping on Peacock Plus or whatever the fuck it's called. Oh, what's it even called? Just Peacock?
It's called Peacock. It's so stupid. It's called Peacock.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, WWE on there is clutch because it has a lot of that is like a subscriber base that is gonna be around forever and stuff like that. So. And Derby Game says his bat voice is very soft, guys. I don't know now. I've seen the softer versions. I don't know. The voice is something, but I'm still hyped, man. I can't wait. But anyway, so Halo Season 2, like we said, it's losing showrunners, going through lawsuits, but they're like, we're doing Season 2. No ratings, no reviews for Season 1. We're doing it.
So again, with the whole lawsuit thing, like I thought, okay, this is definitely rough right out of the gate. It was supposed to like speculation that's going to delay the release of it, but no, it's still set to launch on March 24th. That's great. It's coming out literally like almost just a little over a month. When it comes to like the lawsuit thing, I think like infinite times, yes, I support the whole backing the composers. You know, they were the original composers for the Halo trilogy. And I own some of their actual, like, the soundtracks on disc from back in the day when I bought them. Like, it's just, that's quality music. And if they're not being paid out properly, then that is a huge no. They need to be paid. So, yeah, I guess they're just trying to cover up bad media or bad press with, like, hey, we renewed it for a Season 2. Like, we know it's going to be a success, even though it is very bold. I remember when we got that first trailer and I spoke to it, it is a very new trajectory with how they're kind of handling this story.
I spoke to it. That threw me off for a second.
It's a gamble to just go ahead and expedite that second season when you don't know if it's going to be well received. I think a lot of, from what I've seen, the fan base is kind of more open to this interpretation, but there's still that withheld kind of skepticism about what is actually going to be entailing, and I think that stems immediately with, hey, Cortana's voice actor is the same, but Chief's is not. I think that's one of the first things that kind of has a little people like kind of like a little bit like inquisitive as to how this is going to go. But again, it's a new, fresh take on a fresh new story with these familiar characters in a familiar world. So we just got to see how it goes and what it's going to deliver. So
Look at that. SBUB says that Batman clip mentions Iceberg Lounge. We were just talking about that earlier, so there you go. Kirk and Pets, what about you as far as a Halo Season 2? Clearly they must be happy about it, so they're doing another one. But again, this is before it premieres. Like, that's just my whole thing. I just go, is like it's Halo. It's a franchise. People are going to come at least check it out. But what if that viewership just drops and people leave it? And that's my thing of like, why not just wait even a little bit to renew it? And it doesn't mean it has to happen. They could easily cancel and say, oh, we were wrong. But still just strange. But maybe that's the reverse. They're trying to get people really hyped because they're like, hey, look, like we've renewed it for Season 2. Make sure you're there for Season 1. There's lots of story coming.
Yeah, I think that could be exactly that. Like, you're just really trying to boost the hype and just be really optimistic, because like there's nothing that makes them like legally obligated to hold them to that, like releasing 2 seasons. I feel like at this point I just I'll trust it when I actually see it. Feel like I'm still waiting on Skull and Bones over here, that was supposed to come in. I don't know when that's coming out. So as for Season 2, I'll believe it when I see it. And yeah, it's unfortunate. There's so much or maybe not so much. There's a bit of bad press, coming around the show. It's pretty easy to just put an asterisk on it. But yeah, no, I hope it does well. Me and Taylor will be reviewing it at least.
Dylan says I think he'll be on it. So.
Oh yeah, there you go. So yeah, I hope it works itself out, and I hope it's successful when it does get the Season 2. But as of right now, I'm a little hesitant. And,
yeah, more video game properties doing well is what I want, So
yeah,
we'll see. Let's take our last ad break, and then we're going to talk about some Love is Blind and maybe a Batman clip if we can pull it up because people are talking about it. So we'll be right back. And we're back. Look at that. And we're back. So I wanted to pull this up. It's only 44 seconds. So I can't resist. I want to see it. So let's see this. This Batman clip released today.
I guess we don't have audio though, eh?
Oh, shit. That doesn't help me at all.
I can hear it. You guys can't hear it?
Well, no, because it's on your computer. I don't think is there an allow share? No, there's not. Okay. Never mind. There goes my big plan and everything like that. So. Oh, did he just punch Gordon? Oh my God. This movie's going to be fucking insane. Oh my God.
He's just running down the hall like, whoa, it's the Batman.
Oh my God.
It's not even for the film. It's just like he's like, I know what you did. Matt Reeves is still furious. Just punches him. Runs off the set. That's actual police trying to capture Robert Pattinson.
God, this Gordon Batman relationship's gonna be not as nice as before. What are you? Keep
I love
going
that
back
camera.
I'm trying to listen to what they say because he says Iceberg Lounge here.
How's his voice, Taylor? Is it sounding too soft to you? That's what Derpy was saying.
I don't think it's too soft. I mean, they're trying to talk quietly for a reason.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think that's where it. I haven't heard the audio, but it feels like it's quiet for a reason. So, oh man, Gordon right up his face. We live in a world where.
Yeah,
and
like I was gonna say all the cops are watching like them discuss that. So again, it could just be one of those things where, it's Gotham dealing with tons of corruption, and this is their way to kind of work around so people don't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
I absolutely love the camera shot of when he's going up the like the bat hook after this.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And all the cops like shooting him and everything like that.
Oh, it looks so good because it goes from like his point of view and then like you see his face and it alternates. Looks really good.
Oh yeah. grapple gun and then
Right here.
Oh yeah, that's good stuff. Imagine just working that day though, and the guy just like you just see a man in a bat suit running through the station. Fuck.
I like how it just whips out of his pocket, or
Yeah.
not his pocket, like his sleeve,
Hey.
like a wizard.
Let's see here. So let's talk about something that's come back, something that we have been loving, something that we've, it started years ago where I just put on this show because me and Emily like to watch trashy TV. And I see the show where it's like, okay, they're going to put these people in rooms where they don't see each other. All they can do is hear each other, and they're going to fall in love. And the thing is not that they're going to go on a date, be a couple. They're going to be engaged. They're going to get engaged to leave these rooms and go together. And the plan is for a month later for them to be married. We reviewed season 1, and man, we had a hell of a time. I will say, even if people, especially in the chat, Love is Blind, if you don't like this stuff, watch it. It's so outrageous. It's so stupid, but it's such a good time. So this year, and there's going to be full spoilers, it's been out for a week. This year, it's back finally after 2 years. Taylor, what are you feeling about this season so far? Like, it's not like a TV show as far as quality or whatnot, but what are you feeling about the couples? What are you feeling about, like, what are some things you want to shout out that we've seen so far in this fucking masterpiece of garbage, which I just love it. It's so good.
Right off the hop, the like Instagram lady who is like, I got so many friends and stuff. I couldn't stand her. She was a pain in the ass. I'm glad she's out. But I'm just so happy to have this show back. I'm happy to have all these dynamics and these characters again. I think the one thing that really just made me laugh was just getting to know Shane and just how he just wrestles around on the ground. Like he's just throwing his legs up and he's doing little flips and stuff on the carpet as he's talking. And that whole moment when he goes in to talk to Natalie but doesn't know it's Natalie and thinks it's Shayna. Oh, it was so cringing and just awkward. The other I'm still flabbergasted that Natalie took him, but hey, that's Love is Blind, whatever. But I was really happy about Shake and Deep kind of like getting together because like Shake was really just low. Like I just like he was such a shallow guy. Like I feel like he's definitely kind of overcoming some things, but I feel like the next couple episodes is really going to like convince me, okay, where is he? Is he growing or is he still as shallow as ever? I understand how the things are kind of hitting him because it's like, oh wow, like yeah, we're going in now, like this is the marriage and everything. And it'll be interesting to see how that dynamic kind of goes. But like, I that's what I'm mostly curious on that couple to like how they're going to succeed. My gosh, like the whole thing with, I can't remember her name, but the one who's like, yeah, I'm not attracted to his face or whatever. I'm curious to see how that goes because I feel like
Mallory.
she's starting. Yeah, I'm feeling
Mallory.
like, I think she's really starting to kind of come around a little bit more with him. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Plus the tent falling on him was great. What else is there? Natalie, Shane, that'll be interesting to see how that folds. With Shayna coming back in. Shayna's like fiance, like I'm sorry, like he
Mark
looks,
2.0.
He reminds me of a bat. Like he just does. I don't know why. He does. He just reminds me of a bat. Like it's just his ears. I'm sorry. It just is, and nothing wrong with the guy.
End.
Yeah,
it's like I was supposed to find true love, and if not, I'm back to my form.
The man bat.
He turns back.
But I do think like she put up a stickler about not sharing same beds. Okay, fine. She's religious. I understand that. Like that was the case of,
no.
I know. I understand that. I do.
No.
I do. My parents. That was something that they. I had to respect that. Before marriage or whatever. Like that's something had to respect that. That was my parents' wishes.
That's not why she didn't share a bed with him. That's 100% bullshit.
But her reasons, she was using the religion as an excuse not to, because she couldn't stop thinking about Shane and she wanted to be with Shane, all that jazz. She's not really in it with this guy. And you're right, it is the Jessica 2.0 case. Like she's using the religion as a scapegoat. That's why she left, and I thought when she left, that would be it. That was the end of her trek. When I thought, okay, great, she did the guy a favor. No, the guy is pursuing her. Like, what is wrong with you, man?
When she leaves, he's like, man, I got a golden ticket here. I'm really happy with it. I know. Okay, and I know the point is that he's not going to hear what she says. But man, it's like that date went terrible. She was to me rude the whole time. She made this guy eat meat. She made this guy eat bread. And like that comment when she's like, "Oh yeah, real men eat bread." It's like, fuck off.
Oh my
like
God.
any relationship that I almost had, if I got that, and there's some girls that were like that with me and drinking, not drinking. I was like, no, this is not gonna be worth my time. Sorry. If you care this much about that I don't drink, this is a non-starter. Let's move along and go do something else. Like the fact that in one day, and that's why I don't know with him if he's the strongest willpower, but like I think the date went bad overall. And then she's like, yeah, it's getting real late. And he's like, it's 7:40.
Oh.
She's like, yeah, it's
so
pretty
cringe.
it's pretty late. And the weird thing is she's like, yeah, we need to sleep in separate beds, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, I understand. Cool. Like if that's what we're going to do. And she was just like, yeah, I'm just not like she made it sound like he was pressuring her all the time. Like, what do you mean you're not going to sleep in my bed? And then, yeah, when she left, he's like, yeah, golden ticket. I'm so lucky. I've been waiting for a girl like her. He's just oblivious. The same way Mark was. It's always tough for these shows because you don't know what's played up. But they literally, I don't know how they did it, but they literally recaptured Jessica, Mark, Amber, and Burnett because I'm on the other side where I think Shane and Natalie, most of their drama is just being played up for the cameras. I think, and I know Kirklin said, oh, this is what they're getting to say, but all the cast, like, yeah, they're going to make it. They're going to make it. These little problems they're having are just like, they're little problems. I know it's like making fun of, but like, it's stuff that I guarantee you they're gonna talk and be like, you know what, I'm gonna change, and I know this hurts you, so I'm gonna like. I'm telling you, they're gonna make it. They're gonna get married. There might be some bumps along the way. They're gonna, because my last point before Kirkland goes to like, oh well, when Shayna gets back, Shane's not mentioned a fucking single thing about Shayna. Oh, she left. Oh, weird. And then he completely moved on.
He hasn't, but I don't think he's moved on because once she comes back
he even said
into
in the pods.
play,
He said it was too late.
Because she's not around. Once she comes back and he's going to realize, hey, I'm getting all these compliments from her. He doesn't like at all that Natalie just keeps bullying him with her little things and like jabs and everything.
She's insecure though. She's going to learn.
Yeah, but
he's insecure
Shane,
too, though.
Shane doesn't
That's gonna
know
be
that.
the battling. Like they're gonna get
Exactly.
so pissed off at each other for their own insecurities.
Shane needs to have that. He needs to constantly be spoken up to and like complimented. And I guarantee Shane is going to be doing that and like, oh, you're so funny and all this kind of stuff. And he's going to just eat that shit up.
No,
Fuck, I hope so for the sake of the show and entertainment wise.
I think Shane is going to push him towards Natalie. That's what's going to happen. Kirkland, where are you on all this? And what's going on the show for you?
Yeah, I mean, like it's just watching episode 1. I'm just so glad the show is back. I love like the early sessions of those pods when everyone's kind of just like first impressions and oh, pardon me, and especially when people are like fighting over like the same person, and then it's just like the drama of like, oh, you're going after my man or whatever it might be. Like, fuck, I love those moments in the show. It's so entertaining. But yeah, no, 100% Jessica 2.0. I did not think she was gonna go that route, but fuck.
When she started drinking too, I was like, oh, here we go.
Oh,
like she's
man.
taking shots of liquor and everything.
Oh yeah, and like fuck, at least Jessica 1.0 made it through Mexico with Mark. Like,
I know, she at least
this-
tried.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. She literally just went home. Shay like told me that like after she said she was going to do that. I'm like, no, there's no way. There's no way they're gonna just let her go home for this. Like, come on. And then yeah, she's just gone. Like, okay, whatever. Yeah, it's almost like she just didn't understand like the point of the show is to go there and get married, and then she like very reluctantly said no on like the biggest reason why she wouldn't want to be with someone is probably on her religion, and it's like that's set that they're like just so on the opposite sides of the spectrum, and she just said yes when she shouldn't have, and then yeah, Mark 2.0, Kyle, I think his name is, he's got rose tinted glasses and just thinks it's all gonna work out. The poor bastard. Yeah, I don't know. Like for the, is it just 5 more episodes?
Yeah, we got 4 more Friday and then the finale. Yeah.
Yeah. So like in those next episodes, I'm really excited to see like what Shayna things could come about it. I hope there's some drama just for entertainment wise, but I don't know. I think with the Shane and Natalie debacle, yeah, like they're bickering. It seems so petty, and it seems so hard for me to see those two like getting together. I think it's another situation where Natalie just didn't find any pairings, and then she just found Shane to be the best one. I just really am annoyed with Shane. He's just really annoying for me to see. So yeah, it's hard for me to root for the guy.
Who's playing the Joker and the Batman. Fuck with that laugh.
He's just so loud and obnoxious, and I don't know. I feel like there's gonna be something where he's just a little too set in his ways, and he's not gonna want to like meet someone halfway. So maybe that's where they'll have more fights. But yeah, no, I'm intrigued by that one. I'm very intrigued about the oh my gosh, what are their names? So we got Mallory and Sal.
Yeah, Sal.
And
what's
then
his full name again?
Salvador or something like that.
Salvador, yeah.
And Jefferson or something. Who's the other guy who went with?
No, isn't it Jarrett and Yelena?
Jarrett, yes, Jarrett. That is a very intriguing one because it just makes me think of like
that's a counterpay.
Jessica, Jessica going in on Barnett, and that's just drama for the show. It's just fun to watch. So. That is going to be very intriguing moving forward.
She said yes. She was the second choice. Like, what do you don't do that.
That's brutal.
But just like when they were conversing, Jarrett and Mallory at the bar, and there was just they got liquor in them, so they're just saying crazy shit.
Yeah.
But I
Like
love
Sal's
that shot when it
eyes
would
would
just
even-
go to Sal, and then like
Yeah,
by
his
the end of
eyes
it,
are
he's just
red.
like, I guess it's not happening. Like he was just like set on like moving forward.
They've almost all at some point been like, I'm done. It's over. Like they've all been like, man, they're about to leave the show right now. And I thought we were gonna get some sort of like, Sal Mallory didn't wake up, and no, just those shots of him drunk Sal looking from the side, red eyes, like. Fuck, man.
They've all slept with each other though, except for like Shaken Deep and Shayna and what's his pickle?
Kyle.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
of course not. She went to bed at. She didn't go to bed at 7:40. She left the country at 7:40, so they're not sleeping together. Yeah, last year there was a lot more like we're gonna wait to the wedding. There was that one girl's like, oh yeah, I just need like I think she was maybe in a virgin or something. I can't remember, but this year they're all like I don't know. I'm not that again because of where I am, but even if I was in the show, if there's a reality where I was single, absolutely that's happening in the first one. I'm not getting married to the person without knowing. Like, come on, for both men and women, come on now. There's no way. So,
how did you guys feel about Danielle and her guy? Like when he went out, she was sick. He went out to meet the other couples, and then he came back, and she was like, "I watched you like walk over there, like."
ooh.
That was tough. That was one where I was really rooting for them. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be like the for sure couple. It's really easy. And then she is just, I feel like a very anxious person and like very insecure. So she's just always like, oh no, he looked at her, so now it's over because he just is always gonna be thinking of her. And
when
that
you get the
could
clips of
be,
him at the party, he's just like having a good time. Like
yeah. And then like she's just so like accusatory of him. So I really think like that could kind of be a ripple of like the relationship there. We'll have to see going forward like how that develops, but yeah, a bit of a red flag, and it sucks because I was rooting for those two. I'm like, oh, this is an easy pairing here, and then she just got super aggressive on him, and yeah,
she's turning into the like up in the corner of the dark room. You're like, it's over for you when he strolls in.
I watched you the whole dinner, just conversing with the other ladies. It's like, what?
At first when she was just sick on the ground, there was some funny stuff there, but I still think they will make it. I think that I think she's been through a lot and probably had a lot of bad relationships, so I do give her some benefit of the doubt. Always some stuff gets played up for the shows and everything, but they did look like they had a long fight with no cameras, so that wasn't good. But I still think they'll make it, even though I did think, because last season we had that one couple that the only drama was just like, I don't know if my dad's gonna like me dating a white guy. Like that was the only drama. And once they tried to play it up, it didn't really go anywhere. And I thought they were gonna be that couple. Like, okay, we always need one boring couple who's just perfect, works out, and it's there to ask other couples questions. So their drama's still been pretty. Like I think most of the drama when it's like just them two. That's where I think same thing as Natalie and Shane, it can work out. That's where Shane again, it could be a problem, but like the couples where it is like mixed in with drama with other couples, that's the ones where like, I don't know if it's gonna work. Or Shake, who he's gonna back out. He keeps talking about like, yeah, this is what I need: commitment, a partner, and someone by my side, and this is gonna help me get through life. But no, once he gets down to it, he's gonna be like, I can't marry my aunt. Like the way he like,
Yeah.
he makes no sense
Pretty
when
shallow.
Yeah,
Shallow
when
Hal.
he was shallow. Like that's why it's been all over. He was shallow when it started, but then he's like, yeah, I think I realized like I'm being shallow. I got to stop it. And then when he saw her, he was like amazed. It's like, oh, look, it worked out for you. She's like very much above his weight class as far as like looks wise, not actual weight, but I mean like looks wise. He is dating up, and then like a few days later, this guy's like, yeah, it feels like I'm dating my aunt. I don't know if I'm really. It's just like.
I think that's just for the show dynamic. I think the next episode will, like in the real world, will really tell us like where it really is. Because at the end of the last episode, he really liked like, hey, like moving forward, the support she's giving me, like she's
sound like he was settling though,
and
instead of like being in love. He's like, yeah, I could have. She could be here while I'm doing stuff. You know, I will predict they're not gonna get married. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Which is poor for her because she seemed all game and
Yeah.
she is.
She thinks it's
was
going
like,
real
let's,
well.
Let's get married right now
Yeah.
and say fuck it. That's what she said in the pool with him. So
Yeah. Anything I'm trying to think. Oh, and I just want to say that again, first episode when they do start proposing to each other behind this wall, I was like, man, I remember how fucking weird and cringe this show is, but I love it. But when it happened, I'm like, great, these people are about to get married. It's just so stupid, but I love it. Anything else specifically to shout out? with this
absolutely when Shane accidentally called Natalie Shayna.
show? Yes.
Fuck, I laughed out loud, and she was
Just
like
who I wanna
so
talk
happy
to.
with him. Like she was so excited for the date, and then he immediately just called her Shayna, and it was just like, no, this isn't gonna work moving forward. Oh my god, that's where I was like, man, I fucking love this show. This is so good.
Is there any? I feel like the producers might have done that to him on purpose, because then later on, when Natalie, when he talks to her, Shayna's in the room, and he's like, Shayna? Like I feel like they might have fucked him up on purpose. I really do. Like, because that doesn't
I hope
happen to
so.
you twice. There's no way. So, but it was so good, especially because he's just like just the person I wanted to see or to want to talk to. Like,
he flips it around at her too, so uncalled for.
oh,
Like,
yeah.
do you
100%.
think I'm a
He's-
dick? You think I'm
Yeah.
a dick, right? Yeah. Well, you're kind of
what I
being
mean.
unfair.
I
You're being
fucking
unfair
hate
given the
this guy.
circumstance.
yeah, I'm leaving. I'm done. I thought he left you at one point, but he had to
Well,
wrestle
yeah,
the
like
ground
in the
some more.
pods. He's like, I'm going home.
Yeah, because at one point he did say something when he's on Natalie. He's just like, you know what? I was thinking about this, and this whole situation's kind of fucked up. And like, I thought he was finally realizing, like, what am I doing with my life here? I'm gonna marry someone in a month. I'm getting out of here. But then he came right back because the producers were probably like, you're not getting paid unless you stay there, or it's just drama. But yeah, that was an all time great moment. And Natalie just sat there, just so quiet for a while. Is this Shayna? This is Shayna, right? It's Natalie.
I
Just,
can't wait to speak to you. Oh my god.
just the person I wanted to speak to. Oh man. Anything else?
Nah, that's it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is episode 455 in the books. We will be back next week with another newscast. I think next week we'll actually have multiple newscasts because there'll be no Peacemaker, and we'll be back with Peacemaker. So yeah, it's going to be a good time, and we promise you it'll not be boring.
Goodbye.
What are you laughing at?
Did you hear that, Kirklin?
I did. Yeah.
That was kind of weird, wasn't it?
We're done with Peacemaker, but we'll be back with Peacemaker. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.